This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to DRTSPR show. That means Dr. Thangella Shivaprasad Reddy show. I am Dr. Thangella Shivaprasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to Mr. Ravichandran Swaminathan ji. Whichever way you want, you can introduce yourself, viewers. Concerned citizen, web crime analyst, economist, doing the job of a jurist, being a citizen concerned as per Article 51G. You can call him public jurist. We can coin a new term because after the temple, leave alone temples to Swamis. Article 14, 25, 26, it is there on the tongue of everyone, every Indian Hindu. That is the momentum which he brings into the issues. Purely as per rule of law, constitution, invoking evidential act. That too in larger public interest. We are here to sensitize. No enmity against any individual, nor animosity against any party or organizations. Issue as per rule of law, constitution, invoking evidential act, and that is why today's show is more of importance because it concerns with me, with Ravichandran ji, and all of us. Can't we speak on the phone? Can't we speak through internet calls? Can't we speak through other landline or things? Are we endangering ourselves, public safety, or our national sovereignty? Are we not simple citizens enjoying our rights? Is there any terrorist amongst us? Terrorist activities? Indulging in public safety? Anything like that? Because that is what Telegraph Act 5 Class 2 says, national sovereignty and public safety. Then only you can tap the phone, and how? Through a review committee, principal secretary has to head. Everything should be on record. Similarly, if you are not doing that, as is happening in Telangana, maybe in all other states, there is no opposition. IAS, IPS officers, including judges, succumb, give orders in favor of ruling government. Why? Are their phones being tapped? Are their weaknesses caught? That is why all these jump Jilanis right from 2014 to 2022. So many MLAs, scores of sarpanches, MPs, MLCs, Congress MLAs from BSP, TDP, small fledgling parties, they've all jumped to TRS ruling party. Why? Is this the reason? Their weaknesses have been caught? We don't know. We are not here to judge. But one such circumstance in Telangana, Moinabad famous case wherein the alleged one party is trying to buy the MLS of the ruling party. There is a say in Urdu, सौ चूहे खा के बिल्ली हज को गई कते सौ चूहे खा के बिल्ली हज को गई कते क्या मामला है भैया तू तो 2014 से 2022 तक कितने एमएलए जंप जिलानी टीआरएस में और आप तीनों को लेके आप डायमंड कर रहे हैं और उनके एक रोहित रेड्डी जो एमएलए है उनके खिलाफ कितने केसेस है और उन झूठी सर्टिफिकेट लगा के भी वोट किया है ग्रेजुएट सिलेक्शन और इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया के पास भी केस है लेकिन वो कुछ नहीं करता यहां पर अधिकारी कुछ नहीं करते तेलंगाना चीफ इलेक्टोरल ऑफिसर खाली सोते रहते हैं तो वैसे केस में जो 3 अक्यूज्ड है रामचंद्र भारती जो दिल्ली के यहाँ के नंद कुमार जी और सिमयाजी तिरुपति से, ये लोग तीन का संभाषण, हमको कोई वास्ता नहीं जो महीनों का केस हो रहा है। हम यही चाहते हैं कि तेलंगाना गवर्नमेंट जो पर्यवेक्षण में है हाईकोर्ट की, सच का सच, दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी होना चाहिए। कौन है ये लोग पैसे लेके इनको खरीदने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वो सब बाहर आना कानूनी के तौर पर, हम उसके साथ है। लेकिन ये तीन जो बताया गया गुनहगार, ये तीन जो संभाषण किए हैं महीनाबाद के पहले, वो वीडियो ऑडियो टेप्स लीक हुए मुनुगोडु इलेक्शन के पहले, चुनाव के पहले। इसको किसने किया है? మునుగోడు ఎన్నికల ముందు ఆ ముగ్గురు నేరస్తులని చెప్తా ఉన్నారు, సింహయాజీ గాని, రామచంద్ర భారతి, నందకుమార్. మొయినాబాద్ ఫామ్ హౌస్ కు సంబంధం లేదు, అది చట్టపరంగా పోనీయండి. కానీ 2014 నుంచి 2022 వరకు ఎంతమంది ఎమ్మెల్యేలు టీఆర్ఎస్ లోకి ఎందుకు వచ్చారు? కాంగ్రెస్, బీఎస్పీ, టీడీపీని ఖాళీ చేశారు. బీఎస్పీ, కమ్యూనిస్ట్ ఎమ్మెల్యేలు కూడా వచ్చారు టీఆర్ఎస్ లో, ఖాళీ అయిపోయినాయి పార్టీలు. వాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి ఏంది? ఈ ముగ్గురు గురించి ఇప్పుడు చేస్తా ఉన్నారు ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు. చాలా సంతోషం. మిగతా ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ నేను పిటిషనర్ను, I have been the petitioner on defections. When Srinivas Yadav migrated, I will say, I will use a proper adjective, migration, not defection. There is no meaning defection. Article 10, my petition was there, and YSR MLAs, when they moved to TDP, I filed both in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana high courts. What happened to those petitions? They became infructuous. Why? These petitions went on without trial till the assemblies completed their terms. This is the irony of our judicial system. With due respects to all justices. That is why today's show, ఎవరైతే ముగ్గురు ఉన్నారో ఆ ముగ్గురు సంభాషణ మొయినాబాద్ కంటే ముందు ఏదైతే మాట్లాడినారో ఆ ఆడియో టేప్స్ లీక్ అయినాయి కదా, ఎవరు లీక్ చేశారు, ఎవరు రికార్డ్ చేశారు, దట్ ఈస్ ది కేస్. నేను ఆ పిటిషన్ మీద ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా నాకు కంప్లైంట్ ఐడి ఇచ్చింది. తర్వాత నేను హైకోర్టులో పోయి ఈ పిటిషన్లోనే ఇంప్లీడ్ అయ్యాను. బీజేపీ వర్సెస్ టీఆర్ఎస్ గవర్నమెంట్, ఏదైతే ముగ్గురు ఎమ్మెల్యేలను కొనుగోలు చేయడానికి ముగ్గురు పోయారు. ఎందుకంటే ఆ ముగ్గురు సబ్జెక్ట్ మ్యాటర్ నాకు, ఆ ముగ్గురు మాట్లాడిన వీడియో, మై సబ్జెక్ట్ మ్యాటర్ ఈస్ దోస్ 3 అక్యూజ్డ్, their prior conversation before Moinabad, their audio leaks. And believe me, as soon as I filed a petition, implead and IA2, Governor Madam, the first citizen of Telangana, Tamilisai ji, on 10th November, in a press conference, she said, even my phones, Rajbhavan phones are being tapped. It's a big issue. I don't know what Honorable President is doing. I don't understand. Governor is the representative of Honorable President of India. The cabinet, union cabinet, decides on such important matters and advises the President of India through which the action should have been initiated. Neither union cabinet says something nor the Honorable President's office. After even the first citizen helplessly states, immediately I put all those into pen drive, and along with Union Minister Kishan Reddy, two made a statement on 3rd, stating that Telangana government is tapping their own IAS IPS officers' telephones. And then editorials, I put them in a pen drive and submitted through memo on 18th in High Court. I'm thankful to the judge called Advocate General, because I've submitted these pen drives to both of them. It is costing more. Already I'm spending time and investment, everything. Discussions took place, and Advocate General and the other attorneys making mockery. They say is mockery. What is mockery, Mr. Attorney? That entire world hear you. So many MLAs jumped from 2014 to 2022. I was the petitioner there for defections. Where were you? Is that not mockery, killing the spirit of democracy? You don't want any opposition in Telangana? Which is mockery? First citizen complaining, and she clearly stated the matter is sub judice. That means she was hinting at my petition. When court allows, government is not ready. That is why I have come here with a learned public jurist, Mr. Ravichandran Swaminathan ji, to explore how legal this phone tapping is. If phone tapping is indulged by political parties, those in power, to to listen to opposition, to listen to who raise their voice, to listen to judges, to listen to IS, IPS officers, then where is the administration? No transparency, no accountability. Who will question corruption and misdeeds? They are elected representatives, not bosses. They are public servants. So I'll just play this two videos. One passing comment from you, sir, before I start the videos.
Uh, phone tapping. Uh, First, I should thank you, Dr. Reddy, for having me on this show repeatedly. Actually, this phone tapping issue is a ages-old subject. Earlier, also, they were not phone tapping; they were overhearing, listening to messages, intercepting messages, and all that. Basically, in colonial India, the Britishers introduced the first act where interception of postal articles was prohibited. Then the Telegraph Act was introduced. Then the Wireless and Telegraph Act was introduced, and so on and so forth. But it has been happening till about 1997. I will be talking about all this, but there is a system flaw which is being used systematically by politicians to undermine their opposition. And that is where the concern lies. Uh, Enormous powers have been given to agencies to intercept phone calls. And today, the communication technology has improved so much that one does not know if the phone is being tapped, even if the phone is being tapped. So we will have to assume that if we talk against any powerful person in or out of the government, then it is quite possible that our phone calls could be intercepted. So with that caveat, we will have to talk over phones.
Yeah, wonderful. I'll just play because she is the first person, and if she is feeling bad, then what? Who is comfortable? This is an editorial on 11/11/2022, after immediately after the governor addressed the press conference. At a time when several chief ministers are complaining about interference and the overstepping of authority by governors, and these include those in neighboring Tamil Nadu and Kerala, in Telangana, it is the governor who has startled everyone with her allegations that her phones are being tapped by unknown parties. If even an ordinary citizen is being snooped up upon illegally, much less than a constitutional functionary at the level of the governor of a state, things must have come to a terrible pass. In a democracy, both the privacy of citizens and their freedom to oppose a particular party or government are sacred. If ruling parties or governments anywhere at the center or in a particular state are listening to and watching the activities of their political rivals illegally, it is a shame. Tamilisai Soundararajan, governor of Telangana, is not the first one to complain of having such a fear. Many others, from Union Minister G. Kishan Reddy to former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and Telugu Desam Chief N. Chandrababu Naidu, all have complained of phone tapping by the state government of Telangana. It is now for the K. Chandrasekhar Rao led government to take the allegations seriously, no matter what otherwise might be the nature of political discomfort or confrontation brewing between the ruling Telangana Rashtra Samiti and the BJP at the center. It is important that a probe be ordered into Mrs. Soundararajan's accusation, possibly under the supervision of a high judicial officer, and state police stand up to a fair and neutral scrutiny. It would be of utmost disservice to itself and the people of the state, as well as the idea of the rule of the law, for the state government to ignore this call. If it is nothing to hide, let it come out clean and prove it too. I request the Honorable High Court now, take up my petition now. Put that to trial without any further delay. One second, we are not able to hear her voice. I'll just try to one second.
I submitted my third year book to you all. Now today also on that day when I called you, books were not ready printed. Now all the books are ready. I will give you a personal copy. Like that they went and handed over the book to our honorable home minister. That was the intention of. But it is a routine. About this phone tapping allegation, you are making. No, I cannot say that. That is not concerned. I am not concerned about that because it is in the judiciary. Judiciary, I don't want to comment anything on that. Because the name Rajbhavan and Tushar was dragged. I had a doubt that I am expressing that. Madam, if Rajbhavan gives my name, minister ready to come here and give clarification on that is when you are going to give appointment. That is because after I call you. When you are going to give. No, I will give. I am a person when somebody is giving me a request for appointment, even the common public can give, then why can't they give to the minister? But when they receive, when they told, and then they hear the message that I am going to clarify in front of the press. So this press conference.
She clearly stated the matter sub judice.
We are public elected government, but government disturbing our parties and bills. And that's the disturbance I'm asking. You just tell me that. So then I have to verify, no? Then why are you calling for that if I don't have any intention of clearing the bill? Also, yeah, that is what everyone knows that, no? And I can openly take tapping me that procedure. They mentioned Rajbhavan is involved. And Tushar name is involved. Why they told within an hour, 2 hours they will release it. I am very confident, I am crystal clear in my statement. It's a transparent office and I am not involved in any such activities. And all of my activities are very transparent and all my officials know about that. Why they do that name? Particularly Tushar was calling not Tushar, we cannot use that Tushar. Tushar was my ADC. 2 or 3 days he was calling me because he has landed in Hyderabad to wish me he was calling. Why on the same day they are mentioning his name? Then is there any more? They know, they find out who are all calling me. I want to study. Then I wrote. Are you mentioning that Tushar mentioned in the audio that there is a misconception? No, that's what they mentioned Tushar. Then they mentioned Rajbhavan. When was this week? And what is TRS News? The retweeted. Krishnan TRS retweeted. What is the name of the Tushar that you are recommending? My ABC's name is Tushar. Full name. Tushar Basan. Ma'am, no, why particularly Rajbhavan and Tushar they mentioned, no phone and thing. Ma'am, here. So then, in Tamil Nadu, you said that the troops are.
So she's clearly stating, I hope you have heard it. Her phones are being, Rajbhavan phones are being tapped. And here, TRS government tapping phones of its own party leaders, BJP leaders, IAS, IPS officers, Kishan Reddy. October 3rd, 2022 at 7:24 p.m. This has come in a largest circulated English paper. The Hindu. October 3rd, 2022. I filed all these things in the court. Union Minister for Tourism, Culture and Development Northeast. You say government Telangana Rashtra Samiti government indulging in taping phones. Then not only of the BJP leaders but also of its own party leaders as well as top IAS and IPS officers. Is this not a vital evidence? He is a constitutional authority. He has sworn in on the Constitution of India. And how can government ignore this? So I'm just trying to play certain things.
I doubt my phone is taped. My privacy is interfered. This undemocratic situation is there in this state. In a tape issue, they wanted to drag Rajbhavan. I appeal the student fraternity. If you want to come to Rajbhavan doors are open, not like Pragati Bhavan. I have democratized the Rajbhavan. This is open. Forum is there. Anybody can come. Anybody can give you a memorandum or appeal. I will see that it is attended. And why all these gimmicks are created and why these confusions are created. And another thing, in a tape issue, they wanted to drag Rajbhavan and they mentioned Tushar. Tushar was my ADC. And they are tweeting in their official Twitter handle that Rajbhavan is involved. Then immediately Rajbhavan rebutted. I doubt my phone is taped. My privacy is interfered. Why you wanted? Because Tushar, former ADC, was calling me 2 days to wish me Deepavali, and he was in Hyderabad. Why that name is dragged? After that only they have mentioned Tushar Mehta. In the initial case, they were mentioning Tushar and they mentioned Raj Bhavan involved. So I doubt my phones are taped. This undemocratic situation is there in this state, particularly in respecting the governor.
I hope now we are very clear with this. I think we'll get on with our guest of today. So clearly, when she is stating that her phones are being tapped, I real the what beats my intelligence is how come the government of the day keeps quiet. The central government, what is it doing? And the Honorable President of India should have taken the call. And my petition is filed in High Court. I should have been given a fair trial. Yes, sir. Now the floor is yours.
So I'll share my want to share my PPT.
Yeah, I'm going to make you the. How would you react to governor's statement?
Well, I'll do that. I'll
Yeah.
react to that also.
Yes. No problem. Yes, sir. You are the presenter now.
So, Dr. Reddy, I have just listened to those tapes. Very sad situation where the governor comes out and complains that her phone is being tapped. We will go through that also. So the heading of this podcast is "You are being overheard." Let us be very clear that Big Brother is always watching us. We are always under surveillance. Now there is, so to the viewers, I will tell you, if you hear a click on your phone when you are talking, don't worry if you are a terrorist. You need not worry because you are not a terrorist. Let the government hear what you have got to say. But you have certain fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Your fundamental rights comes under Article 21 and Article 19 and the right of privacy, of which the Supreme Court has passed a judgment. You also have a fundamental duty. your fundamental duty is to identify the bug or the software which is being used to tap your phone and disable it. You have to disable it and tell the government that you have disabled the bugging system that they are using on you. That is your fundamental duty. So that way the government will know that their bugging is being noticed by the public and they are taking it seriously. Now, what is the legality of tapping? This legality, interception of any communication, let it be a postal article, a message, or a telephone talk, it is prohibited unless there is a public emergency or it is required to protect the sovereignty and integrity of the country, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, or public order, preventing incitement of commission to an offense. These are the only 4 conditions which the government has to satisfy. This, if you see this entire thing, the security of the country and friendly relations with foreign states fall directly with the central government. The sovereignty, integrity, security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states come under the central government. Public order and preventing incitement to commission of offense comes under the state police, which means that the state police cannot cite a threat to the security of the state and tap a phone. For that, they will have to go to the central government, state their case to the central government, and the central government has to order the tapping, not the state government. And most important, Dr. Reddy, you are accredited correspondent, correct? If I'm please
Yes.
correct me if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, independent journalist.
You are an accredited correspondent. None of your messages or any press messages that you intend to publish in India, it cannot be intercepted or detained unless the government has prohibited the transmission of that information.
Yes.
Without that, they cannot intercept your communication, listen to it, or detain it. The government has to expressly prohibit it. Only then they can prohibit the transmission of that. Only then they can intercept or detain the messages that you as a pressman are sending out. Now, what are the laws which permit tapping? This starts from 1885 with the Telegraph Act 5/2, which you have quoted earlier, and section 24. 24 gives the conditions under which the act can be applied. Then you have the Post Offices Act of 1898. Then the Wireless Telegraphy Act of 1933. Then the Telegraph Rules of 419A, which specifies the procedures. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 has got one important rule in that, which is unauthorized intercepted communications are not admissible as evidence. Now that will apply to our regular thing also. So if somebody has without authorization intercepted or recorded a phone conversation or any other incriminating conversation, then they cannot produce it as evidence in the court. The Supreme Court has passed several judgments, but some of them are controversial in the sense that where no coercion or force has been applied, then in some cases it is permitted as evidence. But we need not go into all those details. Our major concern is Section 69 of the Information Technology Act 2000, which gives the government sweeping powers to intercept or listen to any conversation which is using a computer. And today, all telephone communications, all phone communications, mobile, everything are computers. Which means all those above acts, Telegraph Act, Post Office Act, are redundant. Section 69 of the Information Technology Act gives the government full powers to intercept if public order, friendly relations, security of the state, incitement to an offense, all these are concerned. The government can intercept or listen to any this thing, or they can order any service provider to record voice messages or voice calls. Now, sometime in 2004 or 5, the then NSA, Mr. Narayan, he brought in some communication equipment called the Fox system. Now, this Fox system does not tap into phones directly. Please listen to me. It does not tap into phones directly. What it does is, it intercepts the call. For example, if Dr. Reddy and I are talking with each other, then this system can intercept the call from the tower itself. The signal which goes from me to Dr. Reddy goes through the tower. So this system will intercept that call in transit. And if it is intercepting the call in transit, there will not be any trace of any phone tapping at all. You will not even know that your phone is being tapped. Probably you should advise the government to use such systems so that the governor need not complain about her phone being tapped.
But that can, as per Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967, it can never become an evidence.
It
Maybe that
cannot
is the
become
reason
evidence, so
why.
it doesn't matter.
That is why Chandrababu Naidu and all that in cash forward scam, the now Congress president, the case doesn't go further in spite of the forensic
Yes.
evidence on the voice.
So that is
Or
why it
compromise, or political compromise. After that, he
all
left the place, and you can have all IAS, IPS officers, including judges, on your roll because they
correct.
have already listened to the weaknesses or whatever it is their judicious right. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So now, what is the procedure for tapping? Before 1997, government was tapping on a mass scale. Every phone was being tapped. If they wanted to tap a phone, they tapped. I don't know whether you remember Ramakrishna Hegde's period in Karnataka when the Veerappa Moily tapes.
Yeah, he had to lose the chief ministership.
Chief Minister post because of that. So tapping was a regular feature in all governments and all times. Now in 1997, the People's Union of Civil Liberties filed a case against the union government, and in that government, the Supreme Court introduced some guidelines, suggested some guidelines, where it said only the Union Home Secretary at the center and the Home Secretary in the state can authorize phone tapping, provided he is convinced that it is essential for the 4 reasons that I gave earlier, prevention or protection of the acts. Without that, they cannot give anything. Now it has to be in a written form, where a request is made to the Union Home Secretary or the Home Secretary of the state, where it has to be given in writing, citing that this tapping is essential because it concerns the integrity and sovereignty of the states, friendly relations with foreign countries. It is to prevent incitement of an offense or in the interest of public order, and they have to justify the reason for which the tapping is called for. Now, in some cases, what happens is, in types of emergency, when the Home Secretary or the Home Secretary of the state or the center cannot be reached, then any secretary above the rank of a joint secretary can issue this order But only thing is, he should be authorized by the Home Secretary to issue the order. So any joint person above the rank of Joint Secretary can issue this order, and that has to be confirmed within 48 hours with the Home Secretary. In other cases where where communication is difficult or where the Home Secretaries cannot be contacted, even the IG of police can issue a phone tapping order and have the same confirmed by the Home Secretary within 3 days. And only after that he can reveal what has been done. Now, in this petition, in this request to the Home Secretary, the government also has to say, or the person who is requesting that phone tapping is to be done, he should also say that the details that he obtained in the phone tapping, or which is looking forward to be getting in the phone tapping, cannot be obtained by any other means possible. Now, this is a tricky situation, because if an MLA is going to change his party and his phone is being tapped, how will the government prove that this detail cannot be obtained by any other means? Or does the government know that the MLA is going to change parties and they want to stop it? Which means that they are already tapping it.
Yes, tricky.
It's a tricky situation now. And how does an MLA who is going to migrate, to use your language, who is going to migrate to another party, how is that going to affect the integrity and sovereignty of the state?
That's what.
How is it going
Order.
to affect the public order?
Yes.
How is it going to affect any incitement of an offense or anything? Which means any politician whose phone is being tapped, now I will look at it from another way. If the government says that this is going to affect the integrity and sovereignty of the state, or if it is going to be a public order or a public incitement of some offense, is the government saying that the MLA, that the elected representative of the people, is a criminal?
Yeah.
If the government thinks like that, then why did they give him the ticket to stand for elections? If you are not able to trust your own MPs and MLAs to do their job, and you have to put them under surveillance, then why did you give them the ticket in the first place? Aren't you cheating the people of the country? Probably you should be raising this question in court tomorrow.
And these MLAs out of four, three have migrated. They were on a migration from Congress, and only
Ah,
one was the original this thing. So this
original.
fear is always this constant fear that someone may go away from me, because there were so many other cases involving the other issues like liquor scam, Phoenix. Now the income tax rates are going on now on the minister concerned. Maybe out of this fear, that insecurity, political insecurity, the instability factor outweighs the due constitutional procedures envisaged. Yes, sir.
Now, if, as you say, insecurity of the ruling party or the chief minister or whoever has ordered that phone tapping, unfortunately for them, insecurity is not one reason. Personal or individual insecurity is not one reason given in the rules for tapping phones. So that is not applicable. That cannot be applied at all. Now, having said that, after the phone tapping has been ordered and it has probably been intercepted or recorded or whatever it is, there is a high-level committee has to be set up to review the legality of the evidence which has been obtained by tapping, of every tapping that is done. Now, there are several issues which have cropped up in this guidelines itself. Now, I will go through that one by one. Now, the Supreme Court has said that the Union Home Secretary at the center and the Home Secretary at the state can authorize phone tapping. Now, are these people independent people? They are appointed by the government. They'll be answerable only to the politicians or the chief ministers. So how can they? There can be a conflict of interest also. Probably the Home Secretary of a state may be against the Chief Secretary of the state, and can he order a phone tapping of the Chief Secretary?
Yeah.
So this is a plain conflict of interest arises now. You are giving a secretary a power to authorize tapping. Now, can this Home Secretary of a state authorize the tapping of the Chief Minister of the state? How is that possible? Where are the checks and balances here? In United States, the phone tapping cannot be ordered by an executive decision. It has to come only from the court. Phone tapping order can be ordered only by the court. If it is not ordered by the court, that you cannot even bring it into court. Forget about presenting it. So that is how it should have been. You can't give a bureaucrat at the center or the state the powers to compromise the right of privacy of an individual. A bureaucratic order or an executive order cannot affect the fundamental right of any citizen. This is the right to privacy. When that is the case, then the entire thing becomes illegal. This needs to be addressed. And phone tapping has to be authorized only by the courts. Otherwise, if you are going to give powers to every agency to tap into the phones, then it is going to become a big issue of retaining the information that has been obtained. So why can't the government consider a single agency which is authorized to intercept on the orders of the Supreme Court? Now, whether it is state or center, it is immaterial. Only one agency should be authorized to intercept or record, make a voice record or call for the voice records or tape any messages or communication, and that agency can operate only under the orders of the court, or High Court or the Supreme Court, not even the judicial magistrate or maybe the Sessions Court. Otherwise, every government will have the tendency to order its home, because if the Chief Minister tells the Home Secretary to tap a phone, the Home Secretary cannot refuse the CM. Now that is why this issue is arising here. Regarding tapping of people just on the basis whether they are going to migrate or whether they are going to do something else is a violation of the freedom of speech itself. This is what the Supreme Court has also told in one of the judgments that it had passed. In the case of Bhuvaneshwari versus others, it said that the right of privacy of a husband cannot be compromised. The rights of a wife cannot be compromised if the husband has ordered a phone tapping of the woman's phone. Even there, it says that the husband has got no right. Even a husband does not have the right to tap the phone of his wife. How can the government tap the phone of every citizen of this country? It is a thing that has to be taken up by the government. Since you are already in the court, maybe you can include all these issues. You can tell the court that Empowering a bureaucrat to order the tapping of a phone will lead to a lot of issues like this, and that any order for tapping of a phone should emanate only from the sessions court and above. Only then this issue will be solved. Otherwise, every politician will be tapping the phone of every other politician if he is in power. And they will use the Home Secretary to do their job, because the Home Secretary will do it because he will be under the hope that he will be promoted to the Chief Secretary if he favors the Chief Minister.
The conflict of interest.
Yes, there is a very serious conflict of interest. No doubt about that. And in such issues like MLAs, MPs and all that, I don't know how it affects the integrity and sovereignty of the country, because these MPs and MLAs have been selected by the party in power to stand for elections. So why are the parties selecting such people on whom they don't have any trust at all, or whom they know are history cheaters? Why are they putting them forward as MLAs and MPs? And why are they employing the police or the nodal agencies to tap into their phone? This is one part of the story. Now, when the request is made for a tapping of a phone, the purpose for which the tapping is to be done is also got to be mentioned. Now, if the government feels that it is going to be incitement of a public offense, then they must mention what that offense is going to be. So if I take up a phone and talk to you about incitement of an offense, and if the government is listening to me, then it can charge me only for that purpose. Otherwise, it cannot charge me at all. Probably if I can take the phone and be talking to you, I can do so many other things also. All that cannot be leaked, or that cannot be provided as evidence. If they do that, they are violating my fundamental rights. Or if I am talking to you about something else, that also issue cannot be revealed, because it is violation of my fundamental rights. Having said that, now who is going to do the tapping? That we'll have to check up. 10 agencies in the central government are authorized to tap. They are the CBI, IB, Intelligence Bureau, Enforcement Directorate, Narcotics Control Bureau, CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, Directorate of Signal Intelligence, and the police. My information is that there are other agencies also authorized to intercept calls. Now, who is ordering them to tap the phones? Because now we have said that only the Union Home Minister or the Home Minister, the Home Secretary in the Union Home Secretary or the Home Secretary in the state can authorize the tapping. Do these agencies come under the Home Secretary? Enforcement Directorate, Narcotics Control Bureau, Enforcement Directorate, CBDT, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence comes under the Finance Ministry. CBI comes under the Home Ministry. IB comes under the Home Ministry. Directorate of Signal Intelligence comes under the military. So what? How can they approach how can the secretary do it without the assistance of the person in charge of these departments?
Yeah. You made their life very tricky now. The courts will also ponder. Wonderful.
So if, for example, somebody has to, the CBDT or the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence has to tap a phone, they must approach the Union Home Secretary to get his permission to tap the phone. That means two departments are involved now. Now, if this comes to court, they can be challenged on that. Whether they have given a requisition, whether the finance minister has given a requisition, the home minister has actually permitted them, and then they did it. If they have not done it, then it is a illegal tapping. It cannot be brought to court. There was a debate between Arun Jaitley and Chidambaram on this in Parliament. It was one of the best debates that I had listened to in Parliament between Arun Jaitley and Chidambaram, where Arun Jaitley made this very, very clear to Mr. Chidambaram that only the Home Secretary, Ministry in the Home Secretary can do that. And this issue arose when Pranab Mukherjee's office was bugged. That time he was a minister then. I think he was a finance minister then. And his office was bugged. That time Arun Jaitley was a leader of the opposition. His phone details was leaked out by a service provider. Now, in all cases of unauthorized tapping, what can a citizen do? File a complaint with the Human Rights Commission. File a first information report with the police. The court can be moved like what you have done today. Of course, but you have done this on a social cause. But even if your phone is tapped, you can move the court saying that this thing has also been tapped. In fact, in the case of Pegasus spyware, which the Supreme Court was given a close to this thing, the Ministry of Home Affairs clearly said that they cannot share the information on the request, on who has made what request regarding phone tapping. They
Ridiculous.
said that under RTI, this information cannot be revealed.
Then in whose favor the government is working then?
Yes. Now, okay. Now they have said that the high review committee will do it. But who is the high review committee? Has the government appointed any high review committee? If it has appointed a high review committee, it will be only other bureaucrats. And do you think that the other bureaucrats will sit down together and say that the Home Secretary was wrong in giving authorization for tapping of a phone? It is something like all the robbers joining together and saying, okay, one of us will be the judge, one of us will be the prosecutor, now we will run the case. Where is the independent body which has to say whether this is a legal tapping or an illegal tapping? And whatever decision they make, it cannot be brought out under RTI also. So everything is opaque. There is no transparency, there is no honesty. And our judiciary will take 5 years, 10 years, its own sweet time to decide a case. Till then, my reputation is damaged. I lost money. I lost mental health. So we have faults in the system which are exploited systematically by the powers that be. And the major issue is our people also do not ask questions. Only if they start asking questions can any solution be come. If they don't ask any questions, then at the end of the day, we will lose the freedom to ask questions, which will be a very sad state. Now, I would like to talk about some of the cases which came up. Do you know some data? 6,000 to 8,000 phones are being tapped by the central agencies on a daily basis. About 10,000 phones are tapped by the state police on a daily basis. Now, my question is, if 18,000 phones are being tapped, is it being tapped because the government knows that these people are criminal elements. In case they know that they are criminal elements, why have they not been booked under any act? And when they have been booked under an act and are spending time in jail, where do they get the telephones to talk from jail and organize their businesses, run their big businesses of extortion, of murder, of any illegal activity from the jail itself? We have seen several instances in the past where gang leaders who have been put into jail have been talking freely with phones provided by the jail authorities. Then sting operations. Often it comes on TV, sting operation. They have done a sting operation. These sting operations are not permitted under any act, except maybe the Abortion Act. That is identification of the fetus. Only there you can do a sting operation on the doctor. Otherwise, it cannot be done. To find out whether the doctor is giving information about the gender of the baby and doing an abortion in case it is a girl child. This happens in the north, and only under that act there is a specific provision which permits a sting operation to be given out as evidence. Otherwise, there is no act which says that you can do a sting operation on somebody and provide that as an evidence.
This is
Even
what
in
was done. This is what was done when the same now Telangana State President Ravichandran Reddy, he was caught by the sting operation when he was speaking from there, bribing an MLC for to elect another MLC, two public representatives to elect another public representative. From there, he was speaking on the phone to Nara Chandrababu Naidu. It is a history. It is there in the public domain. It has been sent for forensic appraisal. After that, what happened? This is a sting operation. You mean to say this is not going to stay as
no,
per
this
law?
is illegal. This is illegal.
Right.
This is straight away it is illegal. See, I cannot be forced to incriminate myself.
I hope Mr. Revant Reddy and Nara Chandrababu Naidu are listening. Yes,
I
go ahead.
cannot be forced. See, for example, just for example, I'll tell you. Now, if we are talking with one another and you are recording it, if you are recording it without my knowledge, without telling me that you are recording it, then you can't use that recorded message anywhere as evidence.
Yes.
You will have to, these are the, in US it is called the Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you talk will be used against you. This has to be told by the policeman to the suspect when they are arresting them, every time they arrest them. In India also we have this unspoken law. It is not spoken, but it is understood that you cannot incriminate yourself. So if I come and talk to you and record that details, and then I go and tell the police that, oh, Dr. Reddy has done this, Dr. Reddy has done that, the police can throw it out as unproved evidence or uh, incompatible evidence or whatever it is, illegal evidence. It cannot be brought into court. Supreme Court has made several rulings on that. And they have laid conditions where in certain cases recorded messages without the consent of the person, yes, that can be taken as evidence, but there are certain restraints and conditions on that. Pretty good restraints and conditions are there, because essentially any recording or any phone tapping incident is concerned, it is a violation of human rights. It is a violation of my personal freedom and personal right to privacy. So it is not legal to do that. Now, when the government has ordered a tapping of a phone conversation and it has got those details, it cannot give the details to the public because it is a violation of privacy laws. Section 43A very clearly specifies that certain private information taken by the investigating agencies cannot be made public. And if it goes public, then the investigating officer who has taken these details, he can be charged under Section 72A of the Information Technology Act. So there are certain constraints even when you take the phone tappings, and it is not restricted only to phone tappings. It is even it can be extended to sting operations, video recording, voice recording, talking to some minister and trying to make him incriminate himself. All these things fall in the realm of unauthorized phone tapping. But in certain cases, like in vigilance cases, where somebody is offering a bribe or somebody is asking for a bribe, in those cases, if the recording is taken and is given to the DVAC and they confirm it, then in those cases it is acceptable by the court as evidence. Otherwise, it is not acceptable as evidence. Now, we had certain cases from 2005-10 when Neera Radia was tapped by CBDT in a case with Ratan Tata and all that. But the thing was, in those phone conversations, there was a lot of conversation between Ratan Tata and Neera Radia, between Neera Radia and press media personality Barka Dutt. These are all personal conversations between Neera Radia and those people. These should not have come out at all. If CBDT had recorded these statements, they should have recorded only those statements which pertain to monetary or financial dealings of Neera Radia, which they were interested in. Other details should have been simply deleted or they should be redacted. It should not have come out into the public domain at all. Once it has come into the public domain, then CBDT can be held responsible for violation of privacy. But nothing happened. These people also kept quiet, those people also kept quiet, and it went on. Now, in such instances where high-profile people are involved and the cases do not go to their logical conclusion, then what happens is, when an ordinary private citizen like you or me are affected, nobody is bothered about it. And the government is getting more and more emboldened to do this tapping business. Like I said earlier, unless we stand up and make ourselves heard, not overheard, unless we make ourselves heard, we will lose the freedom to even to talk. What happened in NSE stock exchange case? A private individual called Chitra Ramakrishnan was tapping with police help. The police commissioner was involved in that. Bombay City police commissioner was involved in that. How did it happen? With all these checks and balances, how was she able to get that order to tap phones? Which means, like I said earlier, there are faults in the systems which are being exploited systematically by other people. And that is where the issue arises. So I think I've given you a broad idea about what are the legal implications of phone tapping and what is. There are conditions where the phone government has to do its job, so it has to tap. We can't tell the government not to do it, but they have to do it under certain guidelines, strict supervision, and it should be done for specific purposes for a limited period. Actually, the period for which an order is valid is only 60 days. Beyond that, they will have to apply for a fresh order. So it has to be for a specified purpose for a fixed time duration. And they can take only that information which is relevant to the reason for which they are tapping the phone. All other information cannot be given to the public. It has to be redacted. even they cannot keep it. So these are the conditions under which the government can operate on phone tapping. Dr. Reddy, now for your closing comments.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. I think you have really brought it out now. At least I hope the governments and even the judiciary also has been listening to our presentations, because you have made their life very comfortable and easy, and you have sensitized every one of them. Believe me, everyone, everyone. Now I think they should not be cribbing on lack of knowledge or lack of information, or why and how the phones are tapped, and what is the procedure involved, and what are the reasons. Now here in Telangana, what do you think, sir? The first citizen of Telangana, when she clearly states on record, and she clearly naming TRS News Twitter, what should have been the courts been doing? What should have been the government, the central government? Or don't you
See,
think it should have been taken suo moto?
See, it has to be taken so moto because for the reason that the governor even see it is a constitutional post of the governor. Now the governor has made a complaint saying that her phone is being tapped. When that is the case, then the police should have acted immediately. But if the police are themselves, this is why I said there is a conflict of interest. Now, if the government is doing the tapping of the governor, how can you ask the government to take any action? It is like asking the thief to find out who the thief is.
Then why the court should take suo moto? That is why
Now,
yes, and she was clearly mentioning the matter is sub judice. That means she was trying to she was referring to my petition.
correct.
Am I right?
So now what the courts should have done is they should not be delaying this by giving 15 days notice here, 10 days notice there. Immediately they should have called some experts, some reliable, neutral experts, maybe police people from other state also, or from the central agencies, CBI, or whoever it is, and they should be putting them on the job. Now, if the government, now put it, I am going technical now. If the government has ordered the tapping of the governor's Raj Bhavan's telephone, whether it is a landline or whether it is a mobile phone, that can be done only through the service provider. Now, if the service provider has been instructed to take that messages or to listen to the voice calls, then the service provider would have provided a direct access to these telephones to the police department or to the person who is concerned, whoever it may be. And that will be recorded in their servers. So a technical committee or a technical person who is appointed to look into this, he will first look into all these details and he will fix the details. Now, if you allow time to go, then it is very easy for the service provider to erase any evidence which is there on their server or which is there, which they have done for switching this thing. Now, this is only one part of it. If it has to come through the servers, it is quite possible that the SIM cards of the governor's mobile phone or her assistant ADC's mobile phones were cloned or duplicated. That is also possible. And if that has happened, then the service provider will know about that also. And that details can also be taken from them. So at the end of the day, the service provider has to justify. Without his cooperation, no tapping can be done. If his cooperation has been taken, then he must have got it in writing from the Home Secretary of the Telangana state, asking him or her to tap the governor's place or ADC's phone number, and there they should have given the reasons for it also. Without any of this, the service provider also becomes liable. The court should first establish whether this tapping has happened, number one, whether it is an authorized tapping, number two, and who are responsible for it. And this has to be done in the shortest time possible, and it cannot take 20 years, 30 years for them to come and run a trial and give a judgment. And they
Already there
can't
is
ask the state government to do it also.
yeah, when the finger is being pointed at state government and its agencies, I'm not saying the state, the entire state, the people, the judges, judiciary, journalists, press, administrators, now everyone is suspecting that the confidence is lost. And don't you think that the entire then in this scenario, already the Telangana state has got the sting operation on record. The earlier sting operation, Mr. Revant Reddy bribing someone, Congress president, and now the Congress, he was in Telugu Desam that time. Nara Chandrababu Naidu's name was taken. I'm going on record now because it is there. Their voice has been sent to forensic. What happened to that? When you have, and now you have made it very clear, the sting operation by the state cannot be held legal except in a doctor's case wherein he is trying to abort stating the gender. Only that is the time you need to go for sting, not on these political issues or corrupt practices by the political parties. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
right.
so when that is the history, don't you think the court should act immediately to build public confidence?
Yes, it should act. It
And
should
that
act.
when a first citizen itself, when
I
he's
don't
coming
know
out of
why they have to run a case on this when the prima facie evidence that is being given, a sting operation itself is illegal.
yeah, sting operation itself is illegal. Already the Telangana state has a precedence wherein it was operating through those sting, which is illegal. That means you are not comfortable. You are always the political instability, the political insecurity of the politicians ruling Telangana. They do not want any opposition to be here. Am I right, sir?
Correct.
Is this not against the spirit of people participatory constitutional democracy?
Yes, it is. That is why that cannot be a basis for any phone tapping. Like I said, the insecurity of the government or the insecurity of the individual running the government cannot be a basis for ordering a wiretapping. If it has been done like that, then it is illegal.
It is illegal. Now the court, high courts are supreme courts. Here you have personal liberty, then the larger scope for Supreme Court. When a first citizen complains very clearly, and my petition was I impleaded because in this case I am no way concerned with the defections. Let it go legally. Whoever has done fundamentally wrong as against Article 10, and even the Chief Minister TRS, he was in a press conference, he was stating, I've done no wrong. I waited 4 months for Congress to become two-thirds and join his party. He waited for 4 months. I'm not quoting. He quoted in the press conference. The Honorable Chief Minister and the TRS President, Mr. Kalvakunta Chandrasekhar Rao, he said, I've done no wrong. I followed the defection laws. How? I have waited for 4 months. When someone from that immediately after the elections, where was the need and necessity? But immediately after 2018, he waited for 4 months. 4 months, what is that? A chief minister of a state, a party president of which it is in ruling, is it not acceptance of, am I right? You are
Correct.
you are in power, you are allowing them to come to your fold by bringing two-thirds of elected representatives on a different party symbol like Congress. Is this not incriminating your own self? When such a case happens, courts are silent. Courts
Courts are
doesn't
silent.
take cognizance of this.
What you're saying is people's it is shaming the People's Representative Act.
Yeah. Now, because the same case is heard by the divisional bench of High Court, now the single judge, don't you think the earlier statement which he made on the same defections should court take cognizance of that or not?
Yes, they should take cognizance of that. See, that is the problem, Dr. Reddy. See, what the courts take cognizance of it is they are missing the wood for the trees. Now you have a sting operation. Forget about migration. Forget about 2/3 majority. Forget about everything. Now you have a sting operation, and that has been brought out as evidence. The court should simply say that the sting operation, the evidence brought out in the sting operation is illegal. Number one. Therefore, we will not take cognizance of that records. Number one. Number two, there is a charge made by the first citizen of the state, the governor. That has to be looked into. So we are appointing these persons X, Y, Z to find out technically what has happened and to take relevant documents if they are available and bring it to court. Once that is available with us, then we will decide whether there is a wiretapping case or if there is not a wiretapping case. And if there is a wiretapping case, then we will run a trial.
Wonderful.
The contents of the tape, we will not go into that. But the legality or illegality of the phone tapping case, that is paramount, not the contents.
Not the contents, but at the same time, if the contents are being heard and they are utilizing it to blackmail them into submission, killing the spirit
Yes.
of democracy, killing the fundamental rights.
That will be a separate case. Once it has been proved that the wiretapping has happened, and or if wiretapping has not happened, then the court can take action saying that these people are being blackmailed on false grounds. Blackmailing is one charge, defamation is another charge.
Right. As you rightly said, even if someone is recording without their knowledge, that is also not an evidence for the courts.
That is not evidence.
On which only the entire High Court trial is going on.
No, without any evidence. What
That is
do I say for that? What do I say for that? God is great.
And how should God is great. So how should my petition now, in the case of all, as I've implemented, should be seen as, because the honorable judge wanted me to file a separate petition, but here the accused are the first evidence for me to file this implead in this petition. I cannot.
Your petition. As a social activist, your petition is only one thing. You want to know, the governor has made a charge saying that her phone has been tapped.
Yes.
Elected representatives. Yes. Elected representatives are saying that they are being blackmailed by a sting operation. Two things. Now you have to tell the court, please appoint a technical person to go into the details and find out whether the service provider has been authorized to tap the phones of the governor or the MLAs. And if they have tapped into that, they have to bring the documents. And if they say that they have not been authorized or they have not tapped it, then they should prove that they have not tapped it. And how can they prove it? Only by bringing the log details of the server for that period.
And what they say is they have collected the telephones, mobiles, and from there they have extracted this. Or else they have cleared this information, these conversations.
How did they seize the mobiles without knowing what information is there? That is a violation of law. I can't come to your house and tell you, Dr. Reddy, please hand over your phone. I want to see if this information is there, and check it and see if that information is not there. Then
now they have gone to Moinabad farmhouse, all the three accused. They said they have recorded sting operation. That video has been shared by the chief minister in public when the court was hearing the case.
So that is why, again, contempt of court. When a thing is running in court, how can the chief minister comment on it or provide evidence in public about it? He should have sent it to court.
Yeah, sent to all chief justices after putting it in the public domain.
So one thing is clear now. When the chief minister says that he conducted a sting operation, then the chief minister should be dismissed for doing illegality.
I think it's a big statement.
Yes. If you order a sting operation on me, then you are committing an illegality, then you are a criminal. I can file a case against you. So if the chief minister says, I've got a sting operation which says that the MLAs have been taking bribe, he should be penalized first. For as a chief minister, he cannot do an illegality. And if he can say that I can conduct a sting operation on my MLAs, what prevents him from doing a sting operation against the governor or against any other person, including you?
Including me. And not only that, he says he is going to give notices to even Prime Minister and Amit Shah and whoever it is.
Let him give.
When such is now, this show is very clear on the basic fundamentals of law, of tapping and the sting operations. Now I will leave it to the concerned citizens to understand and start questioning. Otherwise, tomorrow this will reach your home. That is why no protest. If you protest, the police and everyone puts you in jail. You don't get any bail. You are sent to the jails. Why? Is it because of the sting operations and phone tappings? That is why the infringement of fundamental rights and destroying the spirits of people participatory constitutional democracy. Is this what? For we fought and sacrificed to attain the statehood of Telangana? The same may be in every state. So it is left to the citizens concerned to come out openly. And those political parties, at least now after this show, now you should understand sting is never legal. Sting is not at all a legal option. How is that the legal fraternities of the so-called political parties missed out on this? This will never stand the legal scrutiny. But still, the trial goes on. Political adjustments, compromises, benefits taken. And a chief minister himself states he waited for 4 months for the party to become two-thirds. What should we say? How courts have ignored all these things? That beats my intelligence because I'm part of this impleading petition wherein the phone tapping, quintessentially, all of those accused prior to Moinabad issue, which were the audio tapes were leaked. Who has ordered? Did they record? Were they genuine? Because as a public, as a journalist concerned, and have been the petitioner for defections in the erstwhile both Telangana and AP High Courts, I've got my job to be done to know the truth because I want people participatory constitutional democracy to survive. That is the hindsight. So all these illegalities, and now he has made even the sting operation, which the chief minister or TRS party president or TRS, which have conducted, even that should not, that is not going to stand legal scrutiny as per Ravichandran Swaminathan ji. That's a big issue coming out of this show. And when I have impleaded, there is a bomb dropped by none other than our honorable first citizen governor stating that even Raj Bhavan phones are being tapped. So with all those evidences in a pen drive, I have submitted to the honorable court and to the advocate general who is representing the state government. Now it is very clear. I hope the court will not take much time to appoint a technical committee to oversee because here the main culprits may be the service providers too. And who has ordered? Why they have ordered? We have cited 4 reasons: national sovereignty, public order, you can say safety, or friendly countries. This thing that only central government can do. And here any other major crime, is this political drama a crime? If that is the case, 2014 till 2022, how many MLAs have migrated to ruling party? Is that not a crime? How did they migrate?
Every migration is a crime.
Every migration is a crime. And he himself says he waited for 4 months for Congress to become two-thirds because to escape anti-defection laws. So that Congress, which people have given more than 20 seats, two-thirds, they have jumped all these jump Gilanis. Party B form they won, but they motored to the ruling party. Why? And Chief Minister has waited for 4 months. Now he's a good Samaritan and a Democrat. The spirit of democracy, the anti-defection law, Article 10, he was trying to. So these are all there in the public domain. I only hope courts will understand, because courts have a fundamental role to come to the rescue of people participatory constitutional democracy, and it is the basic structure of the constitution. Free and fair election, and the administration should be very transparent and accountable with equijustice to every section of the society, and people and citizens should never feel that they are being monitored. The state has become a surveillance and their rights are being infringed for no reason, just for political gains, just to be in power. Can this be allowed in a democracy? So I leave it to the spirit of judicial activism and all the citizens concerned. And I only hope the first citizen's complaint reaches the first citizen of the country, president, who appoints the governors, and through him he may ask the union cabinet whether they have sanctioned this. And because this was happening during Munigodu election and the three MLAs went there to Munigodu, I filed a petition with Election Commission of India. They gave me a complaint ID. What did they do till now? They have to reveal. Right from 2018 also, the same petitions are lying on people violations of constitutional violations in free and fair election. So thank you very much, Ravichandran, Swaminathan ji. We will come back to defections and we will try to analyze our chief minister's democratic spirit of 4 months. And then if the courts are not acting, we will continue this series further, the sting and the phone tapping. Wonderful. Thanks a lot. Do support DRTSPR channels, Citizens DRTSPR channel, and Environment People DRTSPR channels. They are all in larger public interest. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Good
you very much,
night.
sir. Good night.
Welcome. Take care. Bye.
Swami Saranam.
Ham Sharnam, and need be tomorrow I am going to repeat this on Citizens DRTSPR channel. Such a fundamental and vital show. I may repeat this so that people should understand. Thank you very much, sir. Bye. Good night.
Good night.